Whiskey. The spirit that warms you up and never lets you down.
Whiskey is a Gaelic word that means water of life.
Drinking whiskey can prevent cancer and also reduces possibilities of heart diseases.
It's a popular spirit enjoyed and appreciated by many around the world.
Nikola Tesla drank whiskey every day because he believed it would make him live to 150 years old.
It's made from various grains such as barley, corn, rye, and wheat, and is distilled and aged in oak barrels. Not all whiskeys are created equal. Let's explore the different types and styles of whiskey, as well as the proper etiquette for when you're drinking around other people.
Whiskey is the official state beverage of Alabama. Yeah, that tracks.
Types of whiskey. There are several types of whiskey, including Scotch, Irish, American, Canadian, and Japanese. Each type has its unique characteristics, and its production methods differ. Scotch whiskey is made from Scotland and is typically made from malted barley. It's aged for at least 3 years in oak barrels and has a smoky, earthy flavor. It's also divided into 2 categories: single malt and blended.
Macallan's whiskey is the most expensive in the world.
Irish whiskey is made from Ireland and is distilled 3 times for a smoother taste. It's usually made from a blend of malted and unmalted barley and is aged in oak barrels. Irish whiskey has a sweet, fruity flavor.
Jameson sells more Irish whiskey than all other Irish producers.
American whiskey is made from the United States and is usually made from corn. It's aged in new, charred oak barrels and has a sweet vanilla flavor. American whiskey includes bourbon, rye, and Tennessee whiskeys. Canadian whiskey is made in Canada and typically a blend of rye, corn, and barley. It's aged in oak barrels and has a smooth, light flavor. Japanese whiskey is made in Japan and is usually made from a blend of malted and unmalted barley, corn, and wheat. It's aged in oak barrels and has a light, fruity flavor.
After being distilled, whiskey is usually colorless. The color you see, that's coming from the barrel.
Styles of whiskey. Each type of whiskey has different styles, which are based on the production process, ingredients used, and aging methods. Scotch whiskey has several styles, including single malt, blended, and peated. Single malt whiskey is made from 100% malted barley and is produced in a single distillery. Blended whiskey is made by blending different single malt whiskeys from different distilleries. Peated whiskey is made using malted barley that has been dried over peat fires, giving it a smoky flavor.
Whiskey is one of the basic ingredients of Tabasco.
Irish whiskey has 3 styles: single malt, single pot still, and blended. Single malt whiskey is made from 100% malted barley and is produced by a single distillery. Single pot still whiskey is made using a mix of malted and unmalted barley and is produced by a single distillery. American whiskeys have several styles, including bourbon, rye, and Tennessee whiskey. Bourbon is made from at least 51% corn and is aged for at least 2 years in new, charred oak barrels. Rye whiskey is made from at least 51% rye and is aged for at least 2 years in new, charred oak barrels. Tennessee whiskey is a type of bourbon that is filtered through charcoal before being aged in oak barrels. Canadian whiskey has 2 styles, blended and rye. Japanese whiskey has several types, including single malt, blended, and grain. Grain whiskey is made using corn and other grains and is distilled in a column still. Proper etiquette. When drinking whiskey around other people, it's vital to follow proper etiquette to look like an established professional and a top-level whiskey enthusiast. Here are some tips to keep in mind. Number 1, choose the right glass. Use a short, wide glass for whiskey on the rocks and a taller, narrower glass for whiskey neat or with a splash of water. Number 2, pour correctly. Pour enough whiskey to fill the glass about 1/3 of the way. Do not fill it to the top. Number 3, smell before sipping. Take a good whiff of the whiskey before sipping to fully appreciate the aroma. And don't just put your nose in there, let the smell come to your nostrils. Number 4, sip and savor. Take small sips and let the whiskey linger in your mouth. Hit every part of your tongue to fully appreciate the taste. I call this chewing it. Number 5, add water if needed. If the whiskey is too harsh, add ice or a splash of water to dilute it. Number 6, don't mix whiskey with other drinks, such as soda or juice. All this is going to do is just dilute the flavor and ruin your reputation. Number 7, avoid getting drunk. Slow your roll and avoid getting hammered. Whiskey is meant to be enjoyed, not abused.
Whiskey with an E refers to grain spirits distilled in Ireland and the United States. Whiskey without the E refers to Scottish, Canadian, or Japanese grain spirits.
Whiskey is a complex and diverse spirit that offers a range of unique flavors and styles. Understanding the different types and styles of whiskey, as well as the proper etiquette when drinking around other people, can help you become a top-level whiskey enthusiast and maybe even impress your boss with your knowledge and taste. So sit back, pour yourself a glass of your favorite whiskey, and enjoy the experience.